Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of Follow Me to Poland. Today, I'd like to share my travel experiences in Poland with all of you. Besides that, I will also discuss some important things to keep in mind while traveling in Poland, such as how to find transportation options and purchase tickets. Of course, I will also introduce some local attractions and share my personal impressions. This special project is slightly different because today we have the assistance of artificial intelligence. In addition to my personal explanation in Cantonese, there will also be an AI Mandarin version and an AI English version, adding these two additional versions. I hope that friends from different language backgrounds can have a deeper understanding of Poland through my video. If the current version you are watching is not in your desired language, simply look for the playlist of different language versions in the text content below the video. Before I introduce my itinerary for this trip, let me tell you about my travel plans in Poland. I stayed in Poland for 25 days, and the yellow dots on this map mark the 6 cities where I stayed, while the other white dots represent the 11 towns I visited. From the map, you can see that both my arrival and departure points in Poland were Warsaw, the capital city. However, on the second day after arriving in Warsaw by plane, I took an early morning train to Kraków, so Kraków can be considered my first destination. Before I dive into sharing travel information about Poland, I'd like to take some time to talk about the weather in Poland. Since there is a lot of information to cover, I'll be discussing it in several episodes to avoid overwhelming you all. Let's start with the weather conditions. Poland is a country located in the northern part of Europe. It shares its northern border with Lithuania, and across the Baltic Sea lies Sweden. Due to its proximity to northern Europe, Poland tends to have lower temperatures compared to many other European countries. While tourists visit Poland throughout the year, summer remains the most popular season. From June to September, the climate is warm, especially in July and August, which are considered the peak travel months. The daylight hours can reach up to 16 hours per day, and the temperatures rarely exceed 30 degrees Celsius, with lows averaging around 15 degrees Celsius. Therefore, when traveling to Poland, I strongly recommend bringing lightweight and warm outerwear. Summer is also the rainiest season in Poland. Despite that, the weather in Poland can be quite changeable. It could be sunny one moment and pouring rain the next, although heavy rain typically doesn't last too long. Even though more than half of the days in my 25-day itinerary had rain forecasted, it didn't significantly affect visiting the attractions. Therefore, it is wise to carry an umbrella with you. The second topic I want to discuss is the use of cash. Although Poland is a member of the European Union, it has not adopted the euro as its currency. The currency used in Poland is the Polish zloty. During my trip to Poland, the exchange rate was approximately 1 zloty to 2 Hong Kong dollars or 2.5 US dollars. As Poles commonly use credit cards in their daily lives, you won't need to exchange a large amount of cash when traveling there. Furthermore, due to the prevalence of card payments, some stores may have difficulty providing change if you pay with large denominations of cash. Therefore, using a credit card for shopping can be more convenient. It's worth considering carrying a credit card that offers favorable currency exchange rates. Additionally, it's important to note that when using a credit card, many stores give you the option to settle the payment in either zloty or your home currency. Based on my experience, settling in zloty is typically more advantageous, although you can test it with small amounts to see if any additional fees apply. While it's possible to go cashless in daily life in Poland, I recommend exchanging a small amount of cash for tipping at restaurants. As an estimation, carrying around 10 to 20 zloty per day should be sufficient. Nowadays, the number of exchange offices in Poland has decreased, but they are still relatively easy to find in tourist areas and city centers. Regarding travel information about Poland, let's pause here for now, and we can discuss other details later. Now, we have arrived at Warsaw Chopin Airport. The name Chopin is certainly familiar to everyone because this airport is named after the renowned musician, Frédéric Chopin. As you might guess, Chopin was Polish and holds significant importance in Poland. However, we'll save the discussions about Chopin and his relevance to Poland for another time. Upon arriving at the airport, I immediately sensed its modernity. Despite its 90-year history, it has undergone continuous renovations to keep up with the pace of the world. Today, it remains Poland's most important and bustling airport. After retrieving my luggage, I walked out of the terminal and noticed several tourism-related companies, such as travel agencies, car rental companies, and currency exchange shops, among others. In Europe, self-driving tours are very convenient for travelers who enjoy independent exploration. However, personally, I don't enjoy driving, so I chose trains as my mode of transportation between cities during my journey. Especially in Poland, the train network is highly developed, and most cities can be reached by train. Moreover, the train fares are quite affordable. Experienced travelers usually avoid currency exchange at the airport. However, I noticed that it was possible to exchange Hong Kong dollars for Polish currency when I passed by the exchange counter, and the exchange rate at the airport was acceptable. Once outside the airport, it was easy to find various transportation options. Taking a bus from Warsaw Chopin Airport to the city center only took around 30 minutes. Since I'm leaving Warsaw tomorrow, I booked a hotel near the central train station for convenience in catching the train to Kraków tomorrow morning. My stay hotel is just a few minutes walk from the bus station, making it the most cost-effective transportation choice for me. Following the clear signs inside the airport, I quickly arrived at the bus station. Warsaw Chopin Airport has multiple bus routes that can take you to your destination. If you, like me, want to go to the central train station or the old town, you can take bus number 175. But what if I don't have Polish currency to buy a ticket for the bus? Don't worry. Many bus stops in Poland have self-service ticket machines, and the bus station at the airport is no exception. These ticket machines accept credit card payments. In addition to the ticket machines, there are other ways to purchase tickets, but we will explain those details further in the future. I'll take a rest at the hotel first and then head to the central train station area to visit some attractions. Since I'm leaving for Kraków tomorrow and planning to return to Warsaw for further exploration before concluding my trip, I'll save this afternoon's itinerary to share with everyone later. I arrived at Warsaw Central train station early in the morning to catch a train to Kraków. As I mentioned earlier, Poland has a highly developed railway network, and the first high-speed railway line connecting Gdynia in the north to Kraków in the south has been in operation since 2014. It connects three major cities, Gdansk, Warsaw, and Kraków, with a travel time of less than 6 hours. Therefore, I chose to take this high-speed train from Warsaw to Kraków. Warsaw Central train station is also very modern, and the information about various trains is easily accessible, allowing passengers to reach their platforms effortlessly. All long-distance trains in Poland offer first and second-class compartments. Of course, high-speed trains are no exception. To enjoy a more comfortable journey, I opted for a first-class compartment. Booking train tickets in Poland is not too difficult. Even during peak season, you can usually secure the train schedule you need by booking a few days in advance. If you want to enjoy early bird discounts, it's necessary to book even earlier. We will provide detailed information on booking methods in the future. At this moment, it seems that my train has arrived, so let's hop on together and take a look. What you see now is the first-class compartment. The interior design has double seats on one side and single seats on the other side. Perhaps I arrived early, and other passengers haven't boarded yet. Now let's take a look at the second-class compartment, which features double seats on both sides. Additionally, there are compartment options available. There is also a dining car service on the high-speed train. If you purchase a first-class ticket, it already includes a meal, so there's no need to go to the dining car to make a selection. Sitting in the seat feels very comfortable. Shortly after the train departed, a steward brought a menu, offering options like salads and sandwiches as light meals. They also provided juice, coffee, and other beverages when the food arrived. Although the food's taste was average, the overall service was very good. After a 3-hour train journey, we finally arrived in Kraków. Here, instead of discussing other matters in detail, let's take everyone to see the tourist attractions in Kraków first. In many travel guides, it is often recommended to start exploring the old town of Kraków from the Barbican. But my itinerary is the opposite because the hotel I'm staying at is only a 10-minute walk away from Wawel Castle. I started from the hotel and walked along the Vistula River. The Vistula River is a major waterway that runs through Poland, extending from Kraków to Warsaw and finally flowing into the Baltic Sea in Gdansk on the Polish coast. It's like a significant water route that cuts across the entire country. This river directly passes through Wawel Castle, located at the foot of Wawel Hill. Many of Krakow's main attractions are situated along the riverbank. The first thing I saw along the riverbank was the Kraków Avenue of Stars. The Walk of Fame is a beautiful pathway that runs along the Vistula River. It features numerous metal plaques embedded in the ground, displaying stars and handprints. These handprints belong to well-known Polish figures, including musicians, writers, film directors, and actors. As a foreigner, I wasn't very familiar with these celebrities, so I simply admired them briefly. I continued walking ahead, and in the distance, I noticed a group of tourists gathering by the edge of the woods, taking photos. I believe that must be one of Krakow's famous landmarks, the Wawel Dragon statue. The Wawel Dragon is considered a symbol of Kraków, and many visitors purchase a Wawel Dragon souvenir as a keepsake. The Wawel Dragon is a famous mythical creature in Polish legends, residing in a cave at the foot of Wawel Hill, along the banks of the Vistula River. There are many stories surrounding the Wawel Dragon, but the most well-known one is this legend. According to the legend, this massive dragon would destroy the houses of the local villagers and even devour the young daughter of one of them, plunging the entire village into terror. To address this issue, King Krakus made a promise to reward handsomely anyone who could defeat the dragon and even offered to marry his daughter to the victor. Many brave knights attempted to kill the dragon but failed, losing their lives in the process. Later on, a clever shoemaker's apprentice named Skuba came up with a plan. He filled a sheepskin bag with sulfur and placed it near the dragon's cave. The dragon was enticed by the scent coming from the bag and swallowed it whole. The sulfur made the dragon extremely thirsty. The dragon hurriedly ran towards the Vistula River to drink water but drank too much, ultimately causing it to explode and perish. The city finally rid itself of the dragon's threat. Skuba became a hero, and the king fulfilled his promise by marrying the princess to him as a reward. Today, you can see the statue of the Wawel Dragon near Wawel Castle. It spews flames every few minutes, delighting the visitors and reminding them of the legendary creature that once troubled this city. We continued along the walls of the castle, and on the left, you would see a staircase that leads up to the entrance of Wawel Castle. Once inside the castle, the first thing you would come across is the Bernardine Gate. This gate was actually constructed during the Nazi occupation in 1940, replacing the old gate that was built during the Austro-Hungarian Empire's occupation. On the right side of the gate is the Sandomierz Tower, which was built in 1460 to strengthen the castle's defensive fortifications. It is one of the two artillery towers within the castle complex, used for storing cannons and ammunition, as well as providing accommodation for guards. Nowadays, visitors can purchase tickets to climb to the top of the tower and enjoy panoramic views of the castle and the river. Of course, I won't miss this opportunity either, so let's ascend the tower together and admire the scenery. In addition to the Sandomierz Tower, another tower in the castle complex is the Thief Tower. This tower, along with the castle walls, was built in the 13th century. Due to its primary function of imprisoning criminals, it became known as the Thief Tower in the 15th century. Continuing forward across the square's lawn, on the left, you will see Wawel Cathedral. Wawel Cathedral is one of the most important churches in Poland, but it might appear somewhat perplexing as it looks like multiple churches connected together. The original cathedral was built in the early 11th century and was just a wooden church. In the 12th century, a second cathedral was added, and in 1492, after the death of King Casimir VI, a new church was constructed in his honor. Over time, more churches were added with each successive king's passing. In fact, Wawel Cathedral houses a total of 18 smaller chapels, representing various architectural styles. If you've purchased a tour ticket and are entering the cathedral, pay attention to the upper left side of the main entrance. You will notice some bones hanging by the door, which are said to be the bones of the Wawel dragon. According to legend, if the dragon's bones were to fall, the entire country would crumble, instilling fear of doomsday. Hence, the dragon's bones are never allowed to touch the ground. However, this is merely a legend, and some zoologists speculate that these bones may actually belong to animals like elephants or rhinoceroses. Even if you don't plan to enter the cathedral, it's worth seeing these legendary dragon bones. In front of the cathedral's main entrance, you can also see a statue commemorating Pope John Paul II. Pope John Paul II was a Polish native and the first Polish priest to become pope. So, in my future travels, I'll take you to see more things related to him. After visiting the cathedral, next to it is the Royal Palace. From 1319 to 1596, all the Polish kings resided here. This palace, built during the Renaissance period, is divided into 3 levels, the ground floor for servants, the first floor for the king, and the second floor for guests. Typically, the top floor of a palace is reserved for the royal family. However, the architects of this palace believed that the first floor would receive more sunlight, providing greater warmth for the king. To enter the exhibition halls inside the palace, you need to purchase tickets. Since I don't have tickets, I can only admire it from the outside. But don't leave just yet because visiting the courtyards inside the palace is free. As you enter the courtyard, you'll be surrounded by incredibly beautiful arcades, and the courtyard's appearance has remained unchanged since its construction. The interior space is very bright, and the architectural style draws inspiration from ancient art. These designs were first implemented in Poland and represent a breakthrough in the development of Polish architecture at that time. After exploring Wawel Castle, it's time to say goodbye for now. I've stayed in Kraków for 6 nights, so next time, I'll continue taking you to explore other attractions in Kraków. I'll also share more information about traveling in Poland and interesting things along the journey. I hope you've enjoyed the format of my Follow Me to Poland series. See you next time, bye.